putting photography. Have you ever?
Again, and it doesn't have any more.
Hi, how are you?
How are you?
You good?
Rob, I remember your name.
Yeah, you were at the thing.
Yeah, we both were there.
Yeah, I recognize some faces. I got to be careful who I approach because you may already be a flat earther.
Yeah. You are already famous in the Dutch news.
Yeah, I heard. Yeah. My wife sent me. Yeah. My wife sent me the link. I told her I was being interviewed, so she was watching to see if anything come up, and sure enough, it did. So I shared the link with everybody.
So they show exactly what they wanted to show.
No, actually, they said they showed.
It was okay.
Yeah, it was good. Except for the picture. Yeah, except for the picture, it was clean. There was no ridicule.
Yeah.
They let us speak our mind. They said our piece. It's good. I was quite impressed. Do you have questions?
Yeah, I was just looking about the gravity here.
Okay. Well, there's a lot of things that are open for a lot of questions. For me, the biggest thing is the curvature. I mean, you can argue gravity, you can argue all the points, but it comes down to curvature. We're not taught how big the Earth is in school. They don't tell us the size in school, because if they do, then what happens is, like anything else in science, well, we're losing it. Just like anything else in science class, we would have to test it, yeah?
Yeah, exactly.
So,
but what do you mean they don't tell us the size of the Earth?
The circumference. Okay, let's say you have a tennis ball. We have a formula to tell us how much curvature there should be on that ball. It doesn't matter how big the ball is. Well, the same goes for the Earth. Okay? But they don't teach us in school. And the reason for that is because as soon as you go out and test it, all of a sudden it's not a ball anymore. So we see too far. Technology has caught up to the deception. So it's exposing what we live on. So now we see way too far, hundreds of miles. But even at short distances, let's say for example, if I put my camera on the ground, okay, on the shore, okay, on water, because that's where you have to have convexity, is over water. You can argue convexity, round, rotundity. You have to have curve over water, right? So that's where most of the testing is done. So the curvature formula for the size of the Earth is 8 inches times the mile squared. Okay, so the first mile, 8 inches of drop from. Okay, wherever you are on the ball.
Kilometers?
Yeah, I don't know the conversions, but we can rough it up. We can rough it up.
8 centimeter per kilometer in het kwadraat.
Oh, okay. 8 centimeters per kilometer in that. Okay.
Now you have to square it because it's a curve. It's not a slope.
It's a curve, yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. So if at 10 miles, okay, we'll use a simple number, round number.
10 miles,
Okay, 10 miles. At 10 miles, there should be 66.6 feet of curvature.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
meters, what's that? 60 meters? Maybe 40 meters? 30 meters? Something like that.
Yeah.
A lot.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Okay, enough that if I have my camera on the ground, on the shore, and I have a friend over at the other end of the lake, 10 miles away, and he has a mirror, spiegel.
Yeah.
If he has a mirror on the ground and flashes a reflection of the sunlight,
Yeah, exactly.
there's no way I should be able to see that, yeah? If it's over a curve, if there's a 66-foot hump of water between me and him, he shouldn't be able to see me. I could jump up and down and wear a red suit, and he should not be able to see me, yeah?
Oh, that's interesting.
Okay, so I can put my camera on the ground and have a friend 10 miles away flash a mirror, and I can see it.
Okay,
You understand?
Yeah,
But these experiments are going on all the time. So, like I said, we see too far. So there's people doing the same experiments over 20 miles, 50 miles, 100 miles. Okay, zoom technology, camera technology today is extreme.
It's extreme, yeah.
Extreme. So if I can zoom in on a let's say a city, if I can zoom from across 50 miles of water, I can see a skyline of a city that should be thousands of feet below, the top of the building should be thousands of feet below the curve,
Yeah, exactly.
but I can see the whole
You
thing.
can see it.
The whole thing.
So
Now-
that explains like the Earth being flat. Is that
Yes.
something people really think about? Because I've read
Well,
once
it's not about thinking or believing, it's about knowing, really.
about knowing.
Because we know we've been lied to. Because what they tell us the size of the ball is, we can disprove that any day of the week. It's been disproved thousands of times, literally.
Yeah.
When we send balloons up, okay, we'll send high altitude balloons up to 120,000 feet,
Yeah.
flat.
Sorry.
It's flat.
It's flat.
Unless you put a fisheye lens on your camera. You know what the fisheye lens is? Everything you see from NASA is a fisheye lens. You'll see people send up a balloon, and you'll see that the Earth, when the how do I explain it? It's a wide-angle lens. Wide-angle lens. Okay, it causes barrel distortion, is what it's called. So what happens is, if you have a flat line, you have the horizon in the center of the frame, it's flat. If you go down, it'll curve up. If you go up, it'll curve down. You see? So that it's called barrel distortion, and it comes from the fisheye lens. It's the curvature of the lens itself. It's designed to take in as much as it can.
Oh, I get it. Okay,
But by doing that, it compresses the image and curves everything when it's off the center.
when it's
As soon as you go off, that's what the lens does. Skydivers, all kinds of people that do active sports, they all use the
They use
fisheye
that,
lens.
yeah, exactly.
Okay? So
Yeah.
does NASA.
So does NASA.
Yes.
Oh, really?
Yeah, well, everything they show you is you see curve, yeah? You
Yeah.
see the ball, you see the curve.
Yeah, okay.
But we go up to 120,000 feet with balloons, and there's no curve. So if they teach us in school that we can watch a ship sail, that we can watch a ship sail over the horizon at about 3 miles, 5 kilometers, 6 kilometers?
Yeah.
So if that's the case, then that means the curve goes this way, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay? So if over 5 miles we see the curve, we see the ship disappear behind the curve, we should be able to see the same curve this way if we can see twice as far. You understand we're on a ball, right? We're on a
Yeah,
sphere.
I
We're
get
not
that.
on a toilet paper roll.
No,
Okay?
I get that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you have to think about these things for yourself. People don't think about it. I never thought about it.
No,
I never.
I also
I
never
didn't care either. But one day I discovered that the space agencies are getting caught hanging from wires, and CGI overlaps, all kinds of techniques that they use, and that we're discovering, and we're tearing it apart. We're tearing the space agencies apart, literally. So yeah, I'm going to give you this information.
Oh, thank you.
Okay. Now this is a card from these guys. I have my own pamphlets. Sorry. I'll try and put my foot on.
Because you got a YouTube.
I have a YouTube channel, yes. My channel is called The Bloody Truth. See? Yep, right on the top there. That's my
Okay.
channel. Yep. So everything we've done this week, we had a convention here in Amsterdam.
Yeah.
There were several speakers. Yeah, actually I'm on the news here, on the Telegraph.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I was in, me and Johnny, he's around here somewhere. Yeah, we got interviewed, so we made it on the news.
Okay, I did not know this was happening.
Yeah,
Because
well,
I
most
find
people
this very
don't.
interesting. I would have gone to the convention.
Yeah. Well, we do conventions all over America, all over Canada. This is the first time they've been to Amsterdam. They're all over the UK. These guys here, we're doing a tour all over. I'm not personally, I'm just here for the convention and being active down here today because I love talking to people about this. It's really fun.
It's fun.
It is. So, yeah.
Because I know they also had this theory or something that there actually has never been a person on the moon, right?
Yes, there has not. There has not.
Right?
Yeah, yeah.
So how
You
does
really-
that work? Because I've read about it.
What do you mean? How does it work? They didn't go. They're lying. They faked it.
But how do still, like, so many people still believe
I know. That's the way it's set up. Because they're not told that we faked it,
Yeah.
for one. Most people don't even look at it. When's the last time you looked at a space video given to you by ESA or NASA?
Yeah.
Okay, you're not paying attention. And when what you do see it on television.
Yeah,
so you see an edited version of what goes on. But when they do a lot of live streams, okay, that's when you see where they make their mistakes, because they do the live stream, so the editing, it gets messed up. You'll see astronauts fly by, float past other astronauts talking. They're hanging from wires, but they won't even edit out the wire from the guy floating by in the background.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they get caught all the time. There's satellite launches from the 80s, from the space shuttles.
Space shuttle.
You know, where they show the satellite spinning as it comes out of the space shuttle, and then the camera pans up. Yeah, well then you see the light reflecting off of the wire.
Oh, it doesn't add up.
You don't see that in the video that they show you on television. But if you go and you look at the archives, you see a lot. You see so much.
Yeah.
And NASA even admits, there's a guy from NASA, his name is Rob Sims, sorry, and he's the guy who made the blue marble.
He made the what?
The blue marble. You know, when you buy a new, it's the famous image of the Earth that everybody has on their phone and on their tablets. You know, I just bought a new dash cam for my car.
Yeah.
And as soon as I turned it on, there's the globe. It's propaganda. It's in your face everywhere you look. Globe, 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 globe. On the news, you don't notice it unless you're looking for it. Now, I see it now everywhere. It just jumps out at me when I see it. Well, poof, there it is. I see a guy wearing a NASA shirt. I go talk to him.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I got guys at work. One guy bought a NASA shirt.
Yeah.
Just to wear it to work. Because of me, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So I'll even show you the picture. So I went and it's really funny. So the next Friday, I go and there's my fellow at work. He bought a NASA shirt.
Yeah.
Well, the next day,
Live.
I wore my shirt. So now all the guys at work have a picture of this. They're sending it around on Facebook to each other. It's really quite
Oh,
funny.
that's funny.
Yeah. But I'm never going to convince you the Earth is flat. Nobody's going to convince you of that. But
Because in school we always
we're so indoctrinated. We're so indoctrinated, and it's everywhere. It's absolutely everywhere. You can't escape it. So it's always you're always being reminded, even though you don't know it, that you live on a ball. So
It is.
you always are. You just don't realize it. Cartoons when you're a kid, same thing. And they even tell you in movies and television, you see it. They'll tell you it's flat.
Yeah?
Oh yeah. Even Neil deGrasse Tyson. Okay?
Yeah?
At well, you know the Baumgartner space jump. Felix Baumgartner. He went to 120,000 feet, the edge of space, and he jumped from a capsule.
He did?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. This is for real.
Oh,
This is legit. This was all on TV. You look it up yourself. The Red Bull jump. It was promoted by Red Bull. Yeah. It was Felix Baumgartner. And you can watch the video, and if you want to watch it right now, I'll point out a couple of very interesting things just in that video alone that disprove the ball.
It's this video.
Yeah, that's the one, jumping from space.
Okay,
Yeah,
now I'm interested.
yeah. So there's your curve, right? The fisheye lens.
Yeah. Oh, yeah,
Okay?
exactly.
And Felix Baumgartner uses, the curve of the Earth is so beautiful.
Oh, he said
But then you go and you listen to Neil deGrasse Tyson, he'll tell you that at 120,000 feet, you don't see curvature. It's flat.
You shouldn't be able to.
By his own words, it's flat from that height. Okay, so who's lying? Who's lying, huh? Is it Felix Baumgartner lying? Yeah? Or is it Neil deGrasse Tyson trying to cover his ass on this flat Earth thing? You realize we're being censored right now, huh? You know that, right?
Yeah.
If you go on YouTube and just search flat Earth randomly, you'll find everything from BBC, National Geographic, all the mainstream sources. You'll find all the hit pieces that'll say how ridiculous the flat Earth is, and they'll give you a plea to authority for everything you already know in your head, and they make it sound like, it's legit, it's real, and they make us look fool. But then, if we're so stupid and if this flat Earth is so ridiculous, why are they censoring it?
Yeah, that's weird.
Why are they censoring it? They're not just censoring that, they're censoring 9/11, false flag events, they're censoring natural cures and homeopathic work. They're censoring all of that.
Yeah.
Why? Why?
Yeah, they're hiding it for us.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You see, you're thinking a little bit. You got to look beyond.
I thought about this before.
Yeah. I'm going to show you this app, okay? This is the Flat Earth Sun, Moon, and Zodiac clock app. I have it on my phone, and I'll show you the benefits to it. If you really want to get some answers quick, get around all the censorship. What the hell did I do with my phone? Here.
This is very interesting.
Yeah.
I like this.
This is the app here. Okay, it's like €3 or something for the app.
This is fun.
Yeah, well, when you start thinking about everything, that's the thing. You have to think, right? Okay, this is the app, and the benefit to this app. Oops, shit. Benefit to this app. Dave, you owe me one. I'm promoting your app. Okay,
Oh, you got
shit.
no connection.
Yeah, I burned all my data uploading videos from this event, so now I can't access. But anyways, if you go cancel, if you go to frequently asked questions, well, this is the questions that are coming into your head right now.
Yeah.
So all the questions you have, if you push on it, you'll learn about satellites if that's your question. It'll take you directly to. Oh, sorry, I pushed the wrong. What? Put me to YouTube. It's not acting. Oh yeah, I can't get to YouTube, so it's not going to show me anything.
Yeah.
So, but when you push the button, it'll take you to a video that'll give you the information, the answer. It'll explain, and then not only that, but you'll be introduced to a playlist. So the fellow who made this app, he's very active. He's not on here. He's on the tour bus. Deep inside the rabbit hole. DIRTH. He makes very short videos, but very sensible videos, because most people don't have the attention span. If you put up a 20-minute video about the flat Earth, most people can't get through the first 3 minutes. They don't have the focus, and that's due to the chemicals in the water, by the way. But that's a whole other thing.
Okay.
Okay. But this is the thing with the flat Earth. Once you understand that that's a lie, everything else, all the rest of the lies in this world, start to become very clear.
Yeah. Okay.
But it starts with. That's why we act. That's why we're active on this point alone, because this is the ultimate truth. This is the truth that can't be hidden, can't be covered up. Okay, you can go out and prove to yourself with the technology we have today. It doesn't cost more than €1,000 for the camera that can see 100 miles, 300 miles, 500 miles away.
Yeah, it makes sense.
So if we can see that far,
it makes sense. But I just don't get it. Why would they want to let us think?
Why would they lie?
Yeah, why? I don't get that.
Well, most people jump to the motive very quickly. They want to know why. There's a lot of reasons why. The one that is most easily understood by most people is money. So NASA makes $52 million a day.
Yeah,
a day. That's like 20-something billion a year. That's just one space agency that's lying to humanity. Then there's all the others.
Yeah.
Okay? So there's billions upon billions upon billions of dollars being given, or taken is more accurate a term, taken from the taxpayers and given to these organizations, and all they do is hand you cartoons and the guys hanging on wires, and yeah, it is. It is crazy.
Some other reasons. I think they are.
There are other reasons. There are many other reasons, but it really does go deep. It goes deep.
It goes deep. Yeah. I think if you really get into it.
Well, the thing is if it's flat, this is where people they usually short out at this point, because if the Earth is flat and stationary, not a spinning ball or a disc in space, we are not in space. We don't know what is beyond what we can see.
No.
Okay, we're being lied to about what's beyond what we can see, because nobody's going there. NASA's not going there. ACE's not going there. JAXA's not going there. Roscosmos is not. They're not, and they're all getting caught faking it. We've got bubbles in space. They're on spacewalks, but you see bubbles coming from their helmets. Okay, they're getting caught in really bad ways, and that is why they are trying to censor this.
Yeah. Okay. I get that.
Because if you see it and you go holy shit, and you tell a friend, and your friend sees it and says holy shit, and you guys look into it a little bit, and you discover that the Earth is actually flat and stationary, and you can prove it to yourself very easily these days.
Yeah,
Once
with all the theories.
once you come to the realization, then it gets biblical, because we only have two cosmologies.
We only have two
cosmologies. One is the Big Bang, okay?
The Big Bang.
The Big Bang, which involves evolution and all the stuff that goes with that, right?
Yes.
Now, if it's not a spinning space ball, which is all about the Big Bang, then you have one other option, as far as all of humanity knows, and that's the biblical creation of the earth.
Yeah.
So now, is the Bible everything? It's I don't know how much truth there is in it, and how much is lies, because again, it's been rewritten by men.
It has been.
And those men are the same men that are lying to us today.
That's
so
exactly, yeah. So
I do believe there's some truth in it, but how much I don't know. But the bottom line is, it's flat and stationary. You'll find out for yourself when you look into it. And if it's flat and stationary, that means it was created. That puts a twist on it that most people are not willing to go past that. And they will come into denial. It's called cognitive dissonance. People will come into a situation where their worldview, their view on everything is challenged. Yeah. And they get a very uncomfortable feeling. In fact, the fellow that interviewed me yesterday on the Telegraph, well, he only showed a small portion of our conversation.
Yeah.
When he walked away, he got very uncomfortable very quickly. And because I was challenging his beliefs. And I put him in a situation where he had to say, okay, I either reject this or, and it made him very uncomfortable. He didn't know how to react. So he wanted to walk away from the conversation. And he was the interviewer. He was the guy with the camera and the microphone in my face. And he asking me the questions. And the answers that he got challenged his worldview. He thought, just like every one of us here thought that it was ridiculous, flat Earth. Every one of us. But every one of us tried to prove the ball.
But you couldn't make it.
Guess what?
Yeah.
Every one of us knows what we know because we tried to prove that we live on a ball. Nobody wants to be a flat earther. I don't want to be a flat earther because everybody else laughs at me. I talked to a couple police officers in there, tried to tell them the earth was flat. I thought they were going to cuff me and put a straitjacket on me or something,
oh no, that's not possible at all.
Well, it's the brainwashing. That's
it.
Because when you're taught about what you live on, you're this big, you're maybe 6, 7 years old at the most.
Even my little sister,
even before then. You see? Yeah. Why do they tell you that? That's the first thing. The very first, even before you get to school, you're learning about it in cartoons.
When you think about it, you are actually.
You're learning about it in cartoons. Yes. You see? Why? Why so young?
Yeah.
Why not wait until you're a young teenager where you have cognitive thought and you can make decisions and analyze things for what they are?
Because you're vulnerable.
Yeah, because by that time you're smart enough to question it.
Yeah.
Okay? They don't want you questioning it. Because when you question it, well, you know what? You end up on the street talking about it and trying to wake people up. Because in reality, the only way this world is going to change is if the mentality of the people in this world change.
Yeah, that's like a very hard thing.
And if we're a spinning space ball going nowhere, came from nothing, mean nothing, will be nothing, then nothing means nothing. There's no consequence to your actions. Okay? Now most people have a conscience. So most people are good people. But there's some really bad people in this world. And those bad things start with a core belief. And their core belief is that nothing matters. Because we are nothing, we are going nowhere. All the scientists and professors and all, they'll tell you you're insignificant. You're nothing. You're a speck. You're dust. You're dirt. You're nothing.
Yeah, that's what they, Okay.
What do you mean I'm nothing? You feel like you're nothing?
No, of course.
You feel like maybe you're meant to do something, be here for a reason, maybe there's more to this life than just being a speck of nothing going nowhere?
No, there's always more to this.
There's always more to it.
Always.
Well,
you just need to be curious.
This is what it comes down to. You got to be curious enough.
Yeah, that's it. Because there are a lot of people who just take everything for, I read it in a book, so it's like that.
Yeah.
But you need to be curious enough. You need to keep questioning. Okay, but why is it like that?
Yeah. Question everything.
You need to
question everything. Most people don't want to because that requires thought.
It does.
And it requires thought on a level that they are independent of any influence.
Yeah.
See what I mean?
Yeah.
Uninfluenced thought is very rare because we're given our thoughts. We're given our opinions. It's all on the news and it's all on the social media. And you're given. So you think you have free choice and free thought, but in reality,
that was also like
you really don't.
Theory exactly.
You know?
Like you don't know when are you truly you, because you're always different you.
Well, to understand what you live on and to understand that the world around you is a lie and it's intentional and they're hiding the truth, then you start to view things a little different. But that's a whole, that takes a bit of time. That takes time. I have to leave that with you. Okay?
I will get into this.
Yeah, I recommend it. It starts with curvature. It starts with curvature. Okay? That's the big one. There's so many things and so many problems that keep coming up along the way. You're going to discover that the globe is just absolutely ridiculous. Like it's to the point now when I see a globe, I laugh. When I go and watch a sci-fi movie or something, it's more of a comedy now. It's almost disappointing because I used to love that stuff, but now it's funny. It's funny. So, well, thank you for talking. I'm glad you were open-minded. You're open-minded, and that's good.
I like this.
Well, your generation needs to know this because it's your generation and the generation you create that's actually going to be able to make a difference. My generation, they're old, stupid, fluoridated, and they can't think for themselves. You know, I got lucky, I guess. I don't know. Maybe I was meant to wake up. But
okay, that's very interesting. Well, thank you.
Yeah, you have. You did check my website or my YouTube. You have it.
I subscribe.
If you check my subscription list, okay, you'll find all these guys. Okay, you'll find Globebusters. You'll find Globebusters, Jeranism, the Morgile. These are the people doing the real tests, the real experiments. Mike Cavanaugh, he's a Dutchman actually. He was supposed to be here, but he's driving a couple people to the airport.
Oh yeah.
He's a mechanical engineer, and he made a gyroscope. Have you heard of Foucault?
No, I just started. So.
Okay. Do you know Foucault's pendulum?
No, what is it?
No? It's in museums. No, it's a pendulum. It swings back and forth, and apparently the Earth rotates under it while it knocks down pins.
Oh, no.
No? Oh, okay, well, that's a whole other topic.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's a whole other topic. But it's all part of this, and it involves the airplanes that you're looking at there. Okay? A gyroscope is what caused... Whoa, there it is right there. Gyroscope. Yeah. Rigid in space, and it's how the aircraft uses the artificial horizon.
Oh,
okay?
yeah.
Okay. When the airplane is on the ground, the gyroscope is spun up, and it stays rigid in space. That's the nature of a gyroscope, and that's why we use it for artificial horizons on an airplane. So as the airplane flies in the dark or in the clouds, and it can't see where it's going, well, how does it know where the ground is? How does it know its altitude? How does it know? You see? It knows because of the gyroscope. It tells it that even though it can't see, it knows that you're flying level to the horizon.
Yeah.
Well, how many miles at 600 miles an hour do you think you might have to travel before that plane should be doing this to follow the curve? Huh?
Oh yeah.
It doesn't. It doesn't. And it could fly for infinite in darkness or cloud and using only the gyroscope, the artificial horizon, to keep it going straight.
To keep it going straight.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then if it did keep going straight but it's on a ball, because all planes fly level, you ever felt the plane dip down as you're... No, it doesn't. That's right. So how long until it flies off into space? Shouldn't you be gaining altitude just by flying level? Things you don't think about. See what I mean?
Yeah.
There's so many problems. It gets ridiculous. It gets so laughable. That's why I can come out here and people can laugh at me, and I laugh right back because I know that if they take the time to actually look,
Well, but it's something to think about.
Yeah,
it is something to think about.
Well, you're a very open-minded person. That's why we do this, because anyone that is curious will come and ask questions.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
And that's a good thing. Yeah, Johnny made it on the news too yesterday, huh?
You want on the news?
Hey, Johnny, what do we live on? What do we live on?
53 we live on?
Yeah.
Big plane.
Yeah, see? We don't know how big it is. We don't. There's something else you might look into is the Antarctic Peace Treaty.
And that is?
That is a treaty that has been put into place, ironically or by coincidence maybe, the same time NASA was formed and the United Nations and so on. The Antarctic Peace Treaty was put into place in the 50s, and nobody's allowed to go there free explore. Okay, all of the power nations of the world got together, all at one time, and said, okay, we're all going to say nobody can go to the Antarctic for anything other than scientific research. There's no free travel.
Area 51?
No, you can go there. You can take a cruise to the Antarctic.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but you go to the shoreline. Okay, you go to a ceremonial South Pole, get your picture taken. Oh, I'm at the South Pole. No, you're not. You still got another couple thousand miles to go to there where you're there. So nobody's allowed to go there.
Like nobody's allowed.
Nobody's allowed to go. You're not allowed to carry extra fuel.
Oh,
There's
okay.
laws in place that are, and every nation that's signed up has their own little laws involved. So in order to do an expedition on your own, this is why nobody can do it, to do an expedition on your own, you have to go through every nation involved, pay all of the fees and duties and stuff involved in that. You have to, you can't take fuel, you can't take extra food, you can't. So how far do you think you're going to go? And if you try, you're turned around at gunpoint. So what are you going to do?
Okay.
You see? Okay. So why can't we go? You do see the flat Earth model that we're showing you, right? What we believe. Well, we don't know everything for sure, but this is your Antarctic.
Yeah.
Okay. Circumnavigation. Okay, that's usually the next question. We go, how good circumnavigation? Well, if the north is the North Pole, which is magnetic north, that's how compasses work on Earth, yeah? When you hold a compass, it points north, right?
Yeah.
So if you want to go east, you keep the compass, you keep north to your right.
Yeah.
Well, north is also Polaris, the North Star, directly above the North Pole. This is all science, right?
Yeah, of course.
Okay. Polaris was used for navigation and circumnavigation before the compass. Huh?
Yeah.
That's when everyone knew where the pole star was. That's north, so we want to go this way. So to keep going east, well, you have to keep Polaris to your north.
Yeah.
So
Okay,
you have to, you're constantly correcting as you go. Well, you come back around where you started.
Oh, yeah.
See how that works?
Yeah. Okay.
Now, there is no circumnavigation north-south.
Okay.
Never happens.
Never?
There's claims that it happened, but research into the claims a little bit and you'll see that they haven't gone all the way around north-south. Doesn't happen. Never, ever in history. Now, there's some royals and some high-ranking military connected to the royals and so on that have claimed to do so. There's articles about it.
Yeah.
Pay attention to what you're reading. Okay? On the surface, it sounds, they'll show you a picture, but even the pictures they'll show you, they're not circumnavigating. They're going there and then coming back, and then going, and then say, oh, we circumnavigated the globe. Well, no, you didn't. You went down, you came back up, and then you went over. That's not circumnavigation.
That's not the same,
no. We can go over the north, but we can't go over the south. Why?
Okay, I never.
Why do most of anyways? Why do all the flight paths mostly go from the southern hemisphere? Very rarely do they go from southern hemisphere to southern hemisphere. They go north first, and then they come back down. Well, when you look at the flat Earth map, okay, some of these places, say from South America, you got to fly from South America to let's say somewhere over here in Russia. Okay. Or say somewhere. Let's say Australia. Okay. Well, it's going to go up here first and then over to Australia. But on the globe, when you look at it on the globe, it'll show you that it goes up first and then down over to Australia. But it's actually a straight line.
So it never makes. Does it make a straight line? No.
Most of the flight paths actually make straight lines on the flat Earth.
They have to.
Yeah. When you break down the flight paths and how from one destination to the next, okay, and you lay it all out on the flat Earth. Now that's not saying that this is 100% accurate. Nobody's claiming that.
No, I get that.
Okay, but it turns out that all of the flight paths that normally go from north or from south to north and back down to south turn out to be straight lines.
Yeah. Okay.
Of course, there's some turning a little bit. You look at emergency landings. Okay, there's a couple emergency landings from airplanes. Some lady went into labor and they had to land, but they were going from South America somewhere. I think it was South America. They were going. I shouldn't talk about it because I can't remember exactly. But the point of it is that they made an article on the news that they had to go to the Arctic, to some town in the Arctic to make an emergency stop.
Yeah.
But when you look at that on the globe, that's so far out of the way, it's ridiculous. But when you look at it on the flat Earth, it's right along the way.
Okay.
Okay. There's just so much. I could talk for days.
Yeah,
and days.
I get that.
We could camp out, have a fire, and we could go on forever. But
Yeah, I really have to go now.
it's for your own time.
But thank you for everything.
Thank you. Nice to know you.
It was nice.
Yeah.
I will look into this.
I hope so.
And I will check your YouTube channel out.
Yeah, that would be interesting. Well, this weekend I've got a bunch of new subs because I'm talking to so many people.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go through my subscriptions and I'm going to thank everybody. I'm going to. I don't know if you have a YouTube channel.
No, but I just subscribe to people.
Okay, well, I won't be able to talk to you anyway then.
Okay.
But that's okay. No, if you have my
If
channel.
I have any questions, I will.
Absolutely. You can ask me on my tell me that I get a lot of trolls. Okay. It's hard to differentiate sometimes when somebody asks a question if they're legitimate or if they're looking for my response so that they can attack me with their book, with their science book. Okay, this happens all the time. There's people dedicated. They're paid to do this.
Really?
Oh, I believe so, and so does everybody else with a channel because we get attacked like you wouldn't believe. It's insane.
Why?
Yeah.
That's weird.
Yeah, isn't it though?
Okay.
Another thing to pay attention to: the Flat Earth Society. Bullshit. They are paid opposition. Okay. Their job is, if you go there, they'll tell you that gravity is the upward acceleration of the disk in space. Okay. But they give you a couple of little facts that make you go, oh, okay, yeah, that sounds interesting. And then they'll hit you with that. And they did it to me too. I went to it. That was the first thing I clicked on because that's the first thing you get.
You see,
Okay. So I clicked on it, and I'm thinking, okay, yeah, they're talking about curvature, talking about a couple, and then they come across their theory on gravity, and I'm, okay.
Doesn't make sense.
So most people, the first time they look into flat Earth, that's what they get because that's the first thing that comes up. Why is it the first thing that comes up on every search page, every search engine?
Okay, I get this.
You understand?
Okay,
You can't find legitimate content anymore.
Okay.
When I first discovered this, I wasn't even looking for it. I got laid off from my job here, and I was just on Netflix. I got bored of Netflix. I had some time on my hands. I went to YouTube, and I'd never even been on YouTube before. I was just looking for funny videos and stuff like that, and this NASA stuff kept popping up. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, come in, read. Let me step aside so you can read. I'm holding up. Yeah. Yeah, it's just, it's quite a trip. I recommend a seatbelt, a helmet, before you start going on YouTube and looking for stuff. Because it's a hell of a ride. It really is. It's a hell of a ride.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was nice to meet you. I hope you research. I really do.
Yeah, of course. I like this.
Like I said, if you make a comment on my video, tell me you met me on the weekend. You met me in Amsterdam.
Oh, of course, I will say that.
I live in Holland, by the way.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I live in Holland. Yeah, I'm a Canadian, but I moved here about 5 years ago.
Oh.
Yeah, expecting heel klein beetje Netherlands.
Oh,
But I'm taking a tutoring now. Private tutoring.
That's very hard.
Oh, hell mule.
Yeah.
Hell mule. Drives me nuts. Yeah, but I'm trying, so.
That's good.
Yeah, so it's good. I hope you learn. I hope you wake up because your children need to know the truth.
Yeah.
That's the way.
I have to leave.
Yes.
How can I help?
Okay.
Thanks.
Thank you so much. You too.